Namaste, everybody. Much love and light and peace and favor and great health to all. What's up? Today's conversation is going to be talking about the Hopi Civilization. There's more parts to this show. First, right now, I'm just going to talk how the civilization, and maybe tomorrow talk about their prophecy, and how the Orion constellation maps out perfectly to the Hopi land and where they come from the first Mesa, second Mesa. And you put it right in front, on top of it, laid up on top of each other. It's a perfect match. So today I'm gonna be reading. It's from Crystal Links. I found a perfect article that talk about them. So I'm gonna put my reading glasses on. Hello, Leanne. Just give me just a second. Okay. Bear with me, you guys. There we go. Now we're talking. I hope everybody can see. Okay. So the Hopi are a Native American tribe nation who primarily lived on the 1.5 million acre Hopi Reservation in the northeastern Arizona. The reservation is surrounded by Navajo Reservation. Hopi call themselves Hopitu, which means the peaceful people. The name Hopi is a shortened form of the title to what they call themselves, Hopitu Sinum, the people of Hopi. Hopi is a concept deeply rooted in the culture's religion, spiritually, in its view of morality and ethics. To be Hopi is to strive toward this concept, but one never achieves in this life. This concept is one where you are in a state of total reverence and respect for all things. To me, is being as one, giving respect to everybody and everything on this world. To be at peace with things and to live in accordance with the teaching of Ba'asa. Hopis live in the northeast Arizona at the southern end of the Black Mesa. A mesa is name given to a small, oscillated, flat-topped hill with 3 step sides called the first mesa, second mesa, and the third mesa. On the mesa tops are the Hopi villages called pueblos. The pueblo of Orobey on the third mesa started in 1050 and is the oldest in the North American that was lived continuously. Ancestry of the Hopis. Evidence suggests that the Hopi consist of the descendants of various groups that entered the country from north, east, and south, and that a series of movements covered a period of probably 3 centuries and perhaps considerably longer than that. Their ancestors, the Anasazi, appear to have been related to the Aztecs of Mexico and may have arrived in their current location 5 to 10,000 years ago. In that time, they have developed intricate ceremonial calendars that has helped them survive and be strong in a place that would not seem to have enough reliable water to sustain life. Related to the people of the various pueblos to the east, the Hopis never actually had a single group identity. They were independent villages. I'm going to stop right there. They did not have a single group identity. Just being humans. coming together from three different directions and coming together and being as one. And that's what we fail to do right now in modern times. We're too busy about, oh, this group, this race, this culture, and forget that we're all human beings. Okay, so they never had a single group identity. They were independent villages, sharing with the Zuni and other pueblos a basic culture and a view of the sacred, while sharing among themselves their own Yuto Aztecan language base. These are their homes. The Hopi Mesa homes. Hopis live in pueblos that are made of stone and mud and stand several stories high. The Kivas are underground chamber in the pueblo home that used to talk and have religious ceremonies in. They used the Kivas for 100 years. The center of the floor had a fire pit. You climbed down a ladder to get to the south end where a bench was placed for spectators. The walls of some Hopi houses are constructed of undressed stone fragments bound with mud plaster. The flat roof consists of beams resting on the tops of the walls, pole battens, rod and grass thatching, a layer of gumbo plaster, and a covering of dry earth. Most of the houses are more than single story, some as such as 4 stories. The upper apartments are reached by outside ladders, as you can see right there. Untitled Ruins. Photos reveal sprawling ancient pueblos. This is their pictures. Early native people have long made their homes in the east central region of today's Arizona. The Clovis people, 11,500 BC to 9,000 BC, once hunted mammoths, giant sloths, bison, and camels here in what was a savanna-like climate. When the big game animals disappeared around 9,000 BC, so too did the Clovis people. Yet the land was still rich in natural resources, and soon groups of archaic people with their hunting, gathering, nomadic lifestyles moved into and across the land. The Nanaki Heritage Site is a cliff-dwelling and rock art site located in the Coconino National Forest, about 15 miles west of Sedona, Arizona. The Sinagua people of the ancient Pueblo peoples and ancestors of the Hopi people lived here for about 1100 to 1300 AD. The Balataki Heritage Site is nearby, also in the Coconino National Forest. The Hopi language are composed of elements that must have spoken diverse tongues. Their speech is readily recognized as a dialogue of the Shoshonean language, which in various forms was spoken in a large part of the Great Basin between the Rocky Mountains and the Sierra Nevada, in southwestern Oregon, and in southern California, even to the coast in Santa Catalina Island, and which furthermore is undoubtedly allied to the Great Aztecan language. A linguistic map would represent the Hopi as an isolated people surrounded by alien tongues. These are the women of the Hopi, how they look and dressed. Beautiful. The traditional Hopi are organized into matrilineal clans. When a man marries, the children from the relationship are members of his wife's clan. The Bear clan is one of the more prominent clans. I remember watching a movie back in the days, I think it was like 1980 something. It was like a Neanderthal movie when they first meet the European. Oh, something the Bear Clan. I know their clan, that Neanderthal clan was called the Bear Clan. Well, anyways, the women and men each have specific jobs or duties they perform. The women owned the land and the house. They also cooked and weaved the baskets. The men plant and harvest, weave cloth, and perform the ceremonies. When the child is born, they get a special blanket. I don't know what is wrong with me talking about gate. They get a special blanket and a perfect ear of corn. And on the 20th day, they take the child to the Mesa cliff and holding the baby facing the sun, the rising sun. Wow. It's like the Lion King. Wow. Well, Shakif, was it Shakivi? Shakivi? The wise monkey who takes Simba and holds him up. Oh. When the sun hits the baby is given a name. Wow. The traditional Hopi are organized into matrilineal clans. When a man marries the children from the relationship, did I just say that? Okay, no. Are members of his wife's clan. The Bear Clan, which is the prominent clan. The Hopi, more than most Native American peoples, retain and continue to practice their traditional ceremonial cultures. However, like other tribes, they are severely impacted by the ambient American culture. Go figures, right? A Hopi bride grinds corn for 3 days at her future husband's house to show she has wife skills. The groom and his male relatives weave her wedding clothes. After they are finished, the bride to be walked home in one wedding outfit and carries the other in a container. Women are also buried in their wedding outfits, so when they enter the spirit world, they will be dressed appropriately. A Hopi man wears a several bead necklace on his wedding day. The economy for the Hopi. Tradition of the Hopi were highly skilled subsistence farmers with the installation of electricity. Wow. And the necessity of having a motor vehicle and other things which can be purchased. The Hopi have been moving into a cash economy with many people seeking and holding outside jobs as well as earning money for traditional crafts. So basically, they did whatever they needed to do to gain money. No, they didn't have electricity and having a motor vehicle back in those days, but they did whatever they needed to make sure they had a good life. And now modern times, yes, they're excelling. Crafts, art is a way for the southern western Native Americans to communicate their dreams, visions, and beliefs to each other or to people today. Pottery, clothing, and making baskets are just a portion of the great arts and crafts of the Southwest Native Americans. Their art used symbols and signs to represent their ideas, beliefs, dreams, and visions. Pottery was made for everyday use, including cooking, storage, bathing, and religious ceremonies. They were painted and carved with designs that told a story. Modern earthenware is considerably softer and coarser texture than the pieces that have been exhumed in large numbers from the ruins of this region. The most successful imitator of this ancient ware, who is not Hopi at all, but the Tewa woman Napeyo of the village Hano, says that its superiority was obtained by the use of lignite, by which the prehistoric potters were able to fire their vessels for several days, but a well-informed traditionalist, on the contrary, asserts that it is the result of burying the clay in moist sand for a long time, perhaps 2 moons, which caused something in the clay to rot. And this is one of the beautiful, just beautiful pottery. And next is the rug. Beautiful. Beautiful woven. Just beautiful. Clothing. The clothing were depended on what they did. They lived in a warm climate, so they wore little clothing. Though would dress in flowers and paint with feather headdresses. They also used clothing to signify their fighting skills. The Southwest Indians were the most skilled in making baskets. They would decorate the baskets with colors and patterns. They would be very symbolic, like the art they made. The Hopi method of basket making has not changed for 100 of years. They still do the same traditional method exactly to a T from their ancestors. The very first Southern West Native Americans hunted mammoths until they became extinct. Then people began to hunt buffalo, also known as bison, as well as collect wild plants for food. They also learned to grow maize, or corn, that was their most common grain, which became domestic in Mexico. Corn is a central food of daily life, and piqui, paper-thin bread made from corn and ash, is the dominant food at ceremonies. Corn relies on the farmers to survive, and the Hopi relies on the corn. All life is designed to be interrelated. The Hopi Indians grew food similar to the Navajo Indians. They raised corn or maize as the basic food. The Hopi Indians based religious ceremonies on the corn they grew. They grew 24 different kinds of corn, but the blue and white was the most common. They also grew beans, squash, melons, pumpkins, and fruit. Kachinas. Kachinas are their deities or gods. And they also will make dolls. They dance to give thanks to their deity, of who they're giving thanks to, because they had like over about 3 different Kachinas, gods. So Kachina dolls were carved out wood by the Zuni and Hopi tribes. And like I just said, there was 300 different Kachinas. They are generally clothed and masked in costumes to look like the men who dressed up as Kachina spirits. They were given to children to teach them to identify the different parts of Kachina dolls and the parts they play in tribal ceremonies. The Kachina or gods were beings of great might and power to a Native American. They were known to come down to earth and help the Native Americans tend their fields, burning wisdom about agriculture, law, and government. They physically interacted with the people themselves. There are drawings of them on cave walls. They also have the famous Hopi prophecy that speaks about the return of the blue Kachina to herald the 5th age of man. And it's just like in every creation story of all different types of cultures, just like the Jesus story. Was supposed to be coming back. Same thing. Different religions, different cultures talk about the same thing, just their own different ways and their own different views. This is like a Hopi Kachina dancer and giving his respect to this Kachina doll. And you see he dresses up like him too as well. Mythology in Hopi. Kokopeli is a god worshipped by many southeastern tribes. He is humpback flautist. Among the Hopi, he brought the fetuses to pregnant women and took part in many rituals relating to marriage. Buyingwa is the god of germination. Taiwa is the creator god. He made Sotuna and ordered him to make the universe. The first world was called Topela and had land, water, air, as well as Goyawuti, which also is called the Spider Woman, who then created twins. I'm probably killing these names, and I apologize to the Hopi and to the tribe now if I'm killing these names. But she created the twins Pokwahoya and Polongwahuya. They made rivers, oceans, and mountains. Konyavutu then made all organisms, but most of men did not obey the gods. So Sotuknan killed them with a flood, just like the flood story in the Bible. Two more bad worlds were created and destroyed. The fourth world, which is now the modern world, is called Tunachi. Topela was the endless primordial space before creation. Good people go west and become Kachinas, but there is no absolute connection between the former soul and the Kachina. And this is a hieroglyph of that, of the blue star Kachina. And the Spider Woman. The Hopi myths. Myths from Hopi stone tablets. Myth 1, which is the mission of two brothers. This Bao clan chief had two grown sons. When they learned of their father's misdeed, they were very sad. Their knowledge of the teachings which they had received from him was all in order. Now they were left alone to lead their people, for the very next day their father died. They'd asked their mother to permit them to carry out the order of their instructions for an event of this nature. She replied that it was up to them, for their knowledge was complete. Upon an agreement, the younger brother was to continue in search of Maasua and to settle where he found him. There he would await the return of his older brother, who was to travel eastward toward the rising sun, where he would rest briefly. While resting, he must listen for the voice of his younger brother, who would accept him to come to his aid, for the change in the life pattern would have disrupted the way of life of his people. Under the pressure of a new ruler, they will surely be wiped off the face of the earth unless he comes. So today we are still standing firmly on the Great Spirit's instructions. We will continue to look and pray toward the east for his prompt return. Just like Muslims, they pray to the east. The younger brother warned the shape of our houses, the layout of our villages, the type of land upon which our villages stands, and our way of life. All will be in order by which you will find us. Before the people had begun their migrations, the people named Hopi were given a set of stone tablets. Into these tablets the Great Spirit inscribed the laws by which the Hopi were to travel and live the good way of life, the peaceful way. They also contain a warning that the Hopi must beware, for in time they will be influenced by wicked people to forsake the life plan of Masao. It would not be easy to stand up against this, for it would involve many good things that would tempt many good people to forsake these laws. The Hopi will be led into a most difficult position. The stones contain instructions to be followed in such a case. The older brother was to take one of the stone tablets with him to the rising sun and bring it back with him when he hears the desperate call for aid. His brother will be in a state of hopelessness and despair. His people may have forsaken the teachings, no longer respecting their elders, even turning upon their elders to destroy their way of life. The stone tablets will be final acknowledgement of their true identity and brotherhood. Their mother is Sun Clan. They are the children of the sun. So it must be a Hopi who traveled from here to the rising sun and is waiting someplace. Therefore, it is only the Hopi that still have the world rotating properly, and it is the Hopi who must be purified if this world is to be saved. No other person, any place will accomplish this. The older brother had to travel fast on his journey, for there was not much time. So the horse was created for him. The younger brother and his people continue on his search of Masao. On their way, they came to a land that looked fertile and warm. Here they marked their clan symbol on a rock to claim the land. This was done by Fire Clan, the Spider Clan, and the Snake Clan. This place is known called as Maunkopi. They did not settle there at that time. While the people were migrating, Masao was waiting for the first ones to arrive. In those days, he used to take walks near the place where he lived, carrying a bunch of violet flowers in his belt. One day, he lost them along the way. He went to look for them. He found that they had been picked up by the horny-toed woman. When he asked for the flowers, she refused to give them back, but instead gave her promise that she would help him in his time of need. I too have a metal helmet, she told him, possibly meaning that certain people with the metal helmets will help the Hopi when they get into difficulties. Often, Masao would walk upon a half-mile north of his dupacha, which is a temporary house, to a place where they lay a long rock which formed a natural shelter, which he must have picked as the place where he and his first people will find each other. While waiting there, he would amuse himself by playing a game to test his skill, the name of which was to play an important part later on his life of the Hopi. For it was here that the knowledge and wisdom of the first people was to be tested. Until recent times, children used to play a similar game there, something like hide and seek. One person will hide, then signal by tapping on the rock, which transmute the sound in a particular way so that the others could not tell exactly where the tapping was coming from. Some years ago, this rock was destroyed by government road builders. It was here they found Masao waiting. Before the migration began, Masao had let it be known, though perhaps not be direct instruction, that whoever will find him first will be the leader there. Later it became clear that this was a procedure by which their true character will be specified. When they found him, the people gathered and sat down with him to talk. The first thing they wanted to know was where he lived. He replied that he lived just north of there at a place called Orobai. Or a certain reason he did not name it fully. The full name is Sip Orobai, meaning something that has been solidified, referring to the fact that this is the place where the earth was made solid. They asked permission to live there with him. He did not answer directly, for within them he saw evil. It is up to you, he said. I have nothing here. My life is simple. All I have is my planting stick and my corn. If you are willing to live as I do and follow my instructions, the life plan which I shall give you, you may live here with me and take care of the land. Then you may have a long, happy, fruitful life. Then they asked him whether he would be their leader, thinking that thus they will be assured a peaceful life. No, he replied. The one who led you here will be the leader until you fulfill your pattern of life. For he saw into their hearts and knew that they still had many selfish desires. After that I will be the leader, but not before, for I am the first and I shall be the last. Having left all the instructions with them, he disappeared. Now for myth 2, it says Chief Don Evahema, grandfather Martin Gashwesanum Gwet, I can't pronounce that last name, Gashweseoma, and his son-in-law Emery Holmes shared the visions about the stones, how they came to be, and current events and whereabout the sacred tablets. The presentation took over 2 hours, but according to the Chief Martin and Emery, to get the full details, you will need at least 8 to 9 days. This is what was recorded of this conversation. As Emery spoke of mankind's future according to our native prophecy, he unfolded the story of the 5 Hopi stones given by the Creator long, long ago. One of these tablets was kept by the Creator. 2 tablets were kept by the Hopis themselves, passed down from generation to generation, and used to renew holy vows of spiritual commitments to the people and the Creator at special times of the year. Martin was the last one who held a great responsibility for its care, a duty that had evolved him by default because his uncle had lost honor by an act of adultery and was therefore no longer worthy to be the caretaker. Misfortune later came to Martin also in this quest. He was instructed and trained by his uncle earlier that when certain signs in nature were observed, the tablet should be taken to Santa Fe, the first U.S. capital in the West recognized by the Hopi people. The same sign for Emery explained as he translated Martin's story. Chief Martin sat up in deep thought and prayer, a sadness of the ages around him. As Grandfather Martin has been taught, he watched for the sign. It was in the middle of winter and the peach tree came into full bloom. Desert flowers came into full bloom, and snakes were seen out when they should be in hibernation. These were signs he had been waiting for, his signal to take the tablet to Santa Fe. So a delegation was organized to go to Santa Fe to share this knowledge with other spiritual leaders. As this story unfolds, his relatives objected strongly. They organized and assessed that he had done wrong in taking the stones to Santa Fe, saying he had made grave errors in judgments and was not fit to have the stone, saying that it was in the wrong household. So they took the tablets from him by force. Now Martin and Emery said as of that day they did not know where the stone is. In asking what the tablets looked like, the elders explained that 4 of them were exactly the same. 2 were left with the Hopi, 2 were given to the true brothers to bring back at special time in history, along with other sacred items from the 4 directions, when the world reunites in peace. The 5th one, the elder tells us, was kept by the Creator and was different markings, similar to one on the poster of the Hinduism Today paper, which states, "Truth is one, paths are many," Grandfather said. This is a great loss for the elder, and now his life is centered around finding the true brothers, telling the world of great prophecies of the Hopis and the Mayans and other civilization. These were shared next as the elders explained to us about the commitment to human race and Mother Earth. Chief Martin would often say, "We are humans. We cannot eat the money. We must plant our fields and pray for our guidance, honor all ceremonials. We can eat the corn." He then disclosed a package of pictographs. The main one, the size of a road map, consisted of numerous papers tacked together, all in a single strip that were rolled out page after page until it was open, over 8 feet long. Emery and Martin explained to us very patiently and slowly the Mayan pictographs, the story of the pictures in the words, sometimes Hopi, sometimes English, beginning in ancient times and ending with 4 possible pathways that mankind can choose from their actions as a collective group. The choices range from complete destruction and loss of sunlight to less severe circumstances, providing corruption and greed has not already gone too far. The elders seemed less optimistic. Then we had all hope. The main concerns of the elders and Hopi people was starvation and martial law. Both they are already seen too close as new reality. On this day, still waiting for the true white brother, the elders came together in a meeting when East meets West. Hopi spiritual leaders of Hotivila, Arizona, hosted the Hindu delegation led by the Satiguru Sivaya. I cannot pronounce the last name. In a special prayer meeting at the cornfields at Chief Dan Evahema's cornfields. Religion. The Hopi have been affected by missionary work, several religions, and also by consumerism and alcoholism. Nevertheless, there remains a traditional core. The people of the Southwest, along with the Southeast, have full-time religious leaders with shrines or temple buildings. Most Native Americans believe that in the universe there exists an Almighty, a spiritual force that is the source of all life. The Almighty belief is not pictured as a man in the sky, but is believed to be a formless and exists in the universe. The sun is viewed as the power of the Almighty. They are not worshiping the sun, but praying to the Almighty, and the sun is a sign and a symbol for that. The Native Americans show less interest in an afterlife, unlike the Christians. They assume the souls of the dead to go to another part of the universe where they have a new existence, carrying out everyday activities like they were still alive. They are just in a different world. The religious and ceremony life of the Hopi centers in the Kiva, which is simply a room, wholly or partly subterranean, and entered by the way of ladder through an opening in the flat roof, while the membership of the Kiva consists principally of men and boys from certain clan or clans. There is no case in which all members of the Kiva belong to one clan, a condition inseparable from the provisions that a man may change his Kiva membership, and in fact necessary by the existence of more clans than Kivas. It is probable, nevertheless, that originally the Kivas were clan institutions. Members of the Kiva belong to snake priests. Okay, this is how the snake priests look like. We also call them shamans. The Hopi, or the Hopi Tua Shi Numu, meaning the peaceful people or the peaceful little ones, are a well-known Indian nation in northern Arizona, especially known for their Kachina Dolls. The Navajo name for the Hopi is Anasazi, which means ancient enemies. The Hopi are very peaceful tribes whose reservation lies somewhat in the center of the Navajo Nation, and although they coexist because of the geography, and their relationship is somewhat strained because of their tribal history. The cliff painting of the Mesa Verde and other areas are said to be guides for their warriors, and they claim that the snake-shaped mounds in the eastern United States were built by their ancestors. The snake dance, which is performed even today, although the picture of a snake priest, which is up here, which you see that up there. The dance takes about 2 weeks to prepare, and the snakes are gathered and watched over by the children. The snakes are usually rattlesnakes and are dangerous, but no harm seems to befall the children. Before the dance begins, the dancers take an emetic, probably a sedative herb or hallucinogenic, and then dance with the snakes in their mouths. There is usually an antelope priest in attendance who helps with the dance, sometimes stroking the snakes with a feather or supporting their weight. After the dance of the snake the snakes are released to carry out prayers for the dancers. And I'm just looking at the chat. Hi everybody. Hi Delaney. Hi Cajun Queen. Hi Joanne. Hi Mary. Beside the trail that leads from the Hopi Mesas to an ancient shrine where salt was gathered in the Grand Canyon, a large boulder bears the markings of clans which carved their emblems into rock each time they pass on a pilgrimage. So this is the rock, and these are different types of clans that they will carve into when they went on their pilgrimage. It's like, hey, I'm here. Maria was here, and whatever year, you know how we used to, well, back in the days, I used to tag every bathroom stall. Oh, Lord. From various quarters, the Hopi have brought with them in their migration from other regions or have borrowed from other pueblos a mass of religious practices. And the result is a complex presenting many anomalies and obscurities. And this is where, you know, I love their beliefs and traditions, because I feel the same way with all religion. It doesn't matter what religion you're in. I could care less, just as long as you are praying, meditating, whatever you want to call it, with love and light and good intentions. That is it. That is it. Combining all the religions as one, getting the good concepts of each religion and just as one. So they recognize a very large number of deities, and none of them can be said that he is supreme. The explanation may be that each was the principal deity of some one group that entered into the making of the present Hopi people. Numerous ceremonies are performed as proscribed times, which are determined by the position of the rising sun with reference to certain landmarks or by the moon. The Hopi medicine wheel. Hello, Truth in Me. And this is the Hopi medicine wheel. North represents white, the color white, air. Animals receive energy, mental aspect, wisdom, logic. And the center is basically center. Learning, self, balance, beauty, and harmony. Accepting and loving yourself. The east represents yellow, sun, fire, determined energy, spiritual aspect, illumination, and enlightening. South represents the color red, water, plants, gives energy, emotional aspects of trust and innocence. West color represents the color black, and it's earth, physical, holds energy, physical aspect, introspection, and insight. So the Hopi medicine wheel of the Hopi prophecy of four peoples of the earth, the cardinal directions north represents the body, plants, animals, and the color white in white-skinned people, and childhood can also represent birth and meeting a stranger and learning to trust as an infancy, explained in Erickson's stages of psychological development. The east, which is held, represents the mind, air, the color yellow, and yellow-skinned people, learning the groups to which people belong in adolescence. The south holds the heart, fire, the color red, and the red-skinned people in adulthood. Finally, west holds the spirit, water, the color blue or black, and the black-skinned peoples in elderhood, which also represents the final life stage in the wheel, being an elder and passing on knowledge to the next generation so that the wheel may start again like the circle it takes after. In many other tribes, however, northern direction corresponds to adulthood, the white buffalo. The south represents childhood, the serpent. The west represents adolescence, could be the bear, and the eastern direction represents death and rebirth, which also could be the eagle. In terms of social dynamics, community buildings, and the use of circles, restorative justice work, the four quadrants of the circle corresponds to introductions. I have also used this medicine wheel. I've also used it in my card readings as well. The center will be what's going on now. The white, and then I go from east. I go the center, the east. What is going on now? What is the cause? The east. West will be the effect. North will be what can you do, and outcome will be the south. That's how I do. I have used the medicine wheel when I do my drawings, my card drawings and my tarot. The star knowledge. The ant people. They have carvings, as you can see there. The elder, and talking about the star people to the next generation, the young. You see the spider on web, spider woman. Native Americans follow the movements of the celestial markers much as we do today. They call it star knowledge. Beyond the land where they lived was the sky, and that beyond were dimensional portals or sky holes. Beyond that was an area they called the ocean of pitch, where the beauty of the night sky and galaxies spun outwards towards them. Beyond that were boundaries of the universe, and that set along the rim at the boundaries of the universe were four different extraterrestrial groups. To the Hopi called the Pleiadians the Chuhugan, meaning those who cling together. They consider themselves direct descendants of the Pleiadians. The Navajo named the Pleiadians the Sparkling Suns, or the Delahie, the home of the black god. The Iroquois prayed to them for happiness. The Cree came to have come to earth from the stars in spirit from first, and then became flesh and blood. Each year, a medicine man performs the green corn dance, where he takes 7 ears of corn from 7 fields of the 7 clans to ensure a healthy harvest. Magic number 21. Me with numerology 21, and I'm a life past 7, so I'm looking at that as a coincidental. So he takes 7 ears from 7 fields to 7 clans. Interesting. Early Dakota stories speak of the Yami, home of the ancestors, as being the Pleiadians. Astronomy tells us that the Pleiadians rise with the sun in May, and that when you die, your spirit returns south to the 7 sisters. They believe the mythic mountain is actually the home of the Kachinas. This mountain top is sacred one. Being the home of the Kachina spirit, it is the place where all of the large mythic beings they honored in their ritual lands. We come as clouds to bless the Hopi people, is a quote passed from generation to generation. There are some remarkable drawings that appear to be luminous discs of light in the petroglyphs along the southwest. Photographs of Billy Meyer's Palladian space and beam ships look just like these rock petroglyphs from long, long ago. I'm gonna go back up. Maybe it's down a little bit. The snake people and the ant people. There go all the petroglyphs. Ant people. And I would believe that's a UFO. The Apache and other Pueblo Indians such as the Zunis and Hopi have legends about their ancestors emerging from an underground world, generally after some catalytic event as of a cycle in time or another reboot in the program. Reboot? Or the Matrix. Another reboot into the Matrix, or realities of the human experiment, always linked to star gods or to star people who brought them here from outer space. They speak of the snake people, metaphor for human DNA, and the ant people, gray aliens, who protect them beneath the surface. Physically, reality is a metaphor for beneath the surface. To rise above is to return to higher consciousness through the black hole, eye of time, or the stargate of human creation. Hopi prophecy speaks of the return of the blue Kachina, or star people, at the end of this cycle of time. The two brothers. More pictures. On the bottom here says, an imprint of a great alien placed in my crystal while I meditated in the mountains of Sedona. I don't see, maybe this is what she's talking about, of a great alien, maybe? But interesting. Present day. Today there are 12 Hopi villages on or below the three mesas, with Moonkopi to the west, on Dainta and Kings Canyon to the east. Each village has its own village chief, and each contributes to the annual cycle of its ceremonies. Each village represents its own distinct caste of Katisinama, and each village has maintained its own balance of engagement with Euro-American culture and traditional Hopi practices and views. Today, the Hopi Indians are divided into traditional, which preserve ancient lands and customs, and new, who will work with outsiders. The Hopi Indians today love their traditions, arts, and land, but also love the modern American life. Their kids go to school and they use medical centers. The Hopi live and work outside of the reservations. Troubles with the Navajo reservations surround the Hopi still continue today. There are now 8 Hopi pueblos, all of them on the top of the mesas. The Hopi villages were established on their present almost inaccessible sites for purposes of defense, in which the same object in view, the builders formerly never left a door in the outer walls of the first story, access to the rooms invariably being through hatchways in the roof. Right, Joanne. I'm just reading your comment. When the dragon meets the rabbit, I just thought of that. It's so that's the what the Great Canyon looks like. It's just beautiful. I wish I could go there. Okay. So that's for right now. Tomorrow I'm going to get into their prophecy and how the Orion constellation just correlates so well profound with the Hopi in their land, in the mesas. Yes, truth in me. 7 years. So you think it's 7 years, 7 corns from 7 fields to 7 tribes? I'm gonna look into the there we go. See what is going on. The Hopi have been on my mind for a while now, and it was something that I needed to do. When I listen to spirit or my angel guides, I just do it. I prepare stuff and get to work. Tomorrow I'll be talking about their prophecy, and it's going to be a article from, I believe his name is, he also has a book too, David Gary, and he also has the maps too. I should show at least one. I'm going to show one. Let me share. There we go. If y'all can see. So this is the Hopi land. The Grand Canyon, the Colorado River. So you take the Orion constellation right here and put it over. You get a perfect match. Mintaka, third mesa. Alintak, first mesa. Alinam, second mesa. And the black mesa is up here. Homolovi, which is Beltukis, near Walnut Canyon, is Messiah. Bellatrix is Wupataki. And then here, this will be Osiris Temple right here. Right there, right in the Grand Canyon. So I wish I had the money and the endurance to hike up this, mountain right here and get to this spot to see if there's something there. That would be interesting, right? But tomorrow, yeah, this is what I'm going to be talking about. And it has so many maps about it, as you can see. I mean, just wow. Just wow. So that will be for tomorrow. So I hope you guys liked it. Yeah. My thing with when their calendars, when I feel like the Mayans and Aztecs went up to the south, I believe also the Hopi and the Mayans, Aztecs, they were all a part of the Atlantean. Those who survived went there. If you read the tablets of Thoth, he also indicates those priests who took the scrolls, took the tablets, and they went to South America, to a place where it's called Yucatan. So yeah. Another reason why I wanted to do this, because everything of their prophecy is just coming together. You know how I spoke earlier when I read from it, they spoke about the directions and the cultures from each direction. I believe it's all of us being led by one man who's the brother, the Kachina, bringing us all together to that place, to the first mesa right there, with all the Hopi villages and their tribes there, being one, being respectful towards each other, being respectful to Mother Earth, living in harmony, having compassion and love, My thing is... I'm buffering. There we go. I don't know why I'm buffering. I only got one tab open. Yeah, so tomorrow, I'll be on tomorrow night, again at 10. See you then. Namaste, everybody. Much love and light and peace and favor and great health to all. Love y'all. And thank you for watching.